we never had any money issues. We had the money. We had
capital
always
was
kind of
there.
had a bit of money,
Yeah,
if that
yeah.
makes sense. So money was not necessarily like everyone faces different issues on their journey, but I don't think the issue we had was like a money issue, because we kind of had money, if that makes sense.
That was ticked off.
Yeah, that was kind of ticked off. So you
got
almost just are allowed to be somewhat free and creative.
OluwaJBeats.
Yes, my people, welcome back to another episode of the Money Ties podcast with your boy Clarence K, also known as CK Talks Money. And today we have another amazing guest, creative director, king of creation, let's call him for this episode. We have my bro Ladi, my guy.
What's good?
Love, bro.
Bless.
Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you, bro, man.
Stress.
Tell the people who you are, man. Tell us a bit about yourself.
So my name's Ladi Alexander, creative director at Marbek, founder, and I'd just say all-round general creative entrepreneur, you could call it.
Nice.
Because essentially I work more or less behind the scenes on various creative projects. However, Marbek is what you could say my day-to-day bread and butter, or what's kind of put me in a position to kind of do other things and kind of spread my wings, really. So
Nice.
yeah, I'd say just creative entrepreneur, whatever that means to you. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Nah, sick, bro, man. And talk to us about Marbek. When did Marbek start out? How did it start? Give us a story in a nutshell.
So it started in 2022 now. It started in 2016, I'd say, properly.
Okay.
So there are like one or two ideas, concepts like before that stage. But when the brand actually was founded, would have been 2016.
Okay.
So first started the brand with someone called Walter. He was more or less managing a lot of the financial side of things. I was heading up the creative side of things. So it allowed me to kind of focus on, you know, getting the right concepts going, connecting with the right people, hitting the right audiences, and just coming out correctly, because I think you can only come out once. Yeah. You can change along the way, but you can only launch once. So once you launch in a certain way, it's hard to change things, I would say. Right. So your initial launch is what people kind of do know you and remember you for. People tend to remember when they first heard you. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people can remember when they first heard a song, whatever moment it was, what memories it brings back. So I feel like it was important that we came out correctly, and we came out pretty strong. Most people would know the brand for like the camouflage jackets, split camouflage bomber jackets, which we were just, I mean, we had everybody kind of wearing it and selling loads of it like worldwide. So that was really when we came into the game.
I remember the first thing I actually bought from Marbek was a green rucksack.
Okay, the camel one.
The camel one.
Yeah.
I was actually, I brought this black one. I was even going to bring it today to be like, yo, this is... So I've known about Marbek for a while. And I guess just before we dive into, you know, the logistics of a day-to-day at Marbek, tell us, you as the creative director and founder, what does your day look like in terms of running a clothing brand?
See, my day has changed.
Okay.
Because I think as time has gone on, my role has changed also.
Got you.
And some things that were maybe more important at a certain stage are not as important as they are now.
Yeah, I hear that.
So a day, it's very hard to say what a day consists of, because every day it's different. If that makes sense.
No, I get it. I get it.
But I would say an average day would be checking the website, making sure the website's all in order. Obviously, that's just a day-to-day maintenance kind of thing. Liaising with the team, so that's essentially designers, content creators, influencers, artists. It's a lot of liaising, I would say. It's a lot of liaising. I generally would pay attention to like trends, you could call it. People's style. Essentially, I would say a lot of running a brand is being a people watcher, because you kind of have to know what's going on without actually going to be like, let me find out what's going on. You just need to be in tune with what's going on.
Being in the know,
Being in the know. And that's how ideas tend to come to you naturally, as opposed to, you know, starting conversations with people that then give you ideas, which is also amazing. But I think it's important that you have your own set of ideas. Yeah, you're aware of what's going on. And then when you do kind of like take things to the new level, you still have your own idea, even though this idea might be getting developed by other people or with other people. Essentially, you want to have the initial ideas that you can kind of springboard from. And that's a lot of what I think they say being a creative director is about. It's like being the last line of defense. So when people need direction, that's when you're kind of there. So you don't necessarily have to always be at the forefront. A lot of it is behind the scenes. But when there is like, okay, this isn't really connecting, this isn't really making sense, you're almost there to be like, okay, this is how we connect A to B, and we can move this way, and this is how we see it making sense. So yeah, no, going back to like a day, like it just consists of every single thing you can think of.
Different stuff,
you know, like from working with manufacturers, like I said, working with designers, working with influencers, working with artists, working with PR companies from time to time, working with people in events, working with DJs, working with set designers, working with photographers, across the board, while still, like I said, paying attention to pop culture, you could call it.
As well, And we're going to come onto the trends, because it will be interesting to know how you look at trends, but we're going to come to that. But I guess another thing that I was thinking is Marbek in itself. Is this something you've always wanted to do? So take yourself back to, you said 2016 was the start. Let's say 2013, 2014. Is this something you were always planning, or was it just one day it clicked and you said, boom, I'm going to go and do this? How was it like?
I would say early on, I did have the idea of doing a clothing line, like just when I finished university. A lot of people wouldn't know this, but I actually studied law.
Oh, right.
I actually studied law. And while studying, of course, everyone's into clothes, into fashion.
Why law though?
African parents.
Here you go.
It's just one of them ticket off the checklist things.
I hear you. I've done that for you lot now.
No, literally.
Now it's my turn to do my thing.
Done. Do you know what I mean? Because I was used to always having exams every year, like especially around my birthday. My birthday's in May, so every year while growing up, I always had exams during my birthday. Only when I finished university did I start being able to do whatever I felt like doing. What you were thinking, So. Sorry, what was the question again?
So in terms of like, how did it come about? Is it something you've always wanted to do, or?
Me and a couple of my friends started running a blog.
Okay,
it was called Trap Luxury. It was a Tumblr blog. But in that era, I would say, the good thing about Tumblr was you didn't know who was running it, because you couldn't see profile pictures. There was no information on where the content was coming from.
True.
So we were getting messages globally, because this was early days. This was when the internet was really first, the new age internet was really first. So this was before Instagram. Everything visual was on Tumblr. So you would see like, this was like when Balenciaga first started really coming out, like Givenchy, all these high fashion brands, Hood by Air, streetwear was first kind of catching its wave during that era. Like I said, this is before Instagram.
Of course.
So I'm seeing certain things, I'm getting into high fashion, everything else. And essentially it's catching on. Like a lot of the pictures were getting like thousands of reblogs, and a lot of it was original content.
Wow. Okay.
So it might be like a cool t-shirt design with a pair of trainers. Of course you might mix it with some high fashion, so people can kind of aspire towards it. So this kind of stuff was getting a lot of traction. So it was now shaping my head, I would say, in that kind of like fashion kind of world. And a good friend of mine called Bevan Aggie-Man, sorry. He was a fashion stylist, fashion designer. He was involved in early creations of Dope Chef. I'm not sure if a lot of people know about Dope Chef.
I know Dope Chef.
Again, it's one of the early streetwear brands. So obviously I'm around certain things, and I'm getting inspiration from certain places. I'm seeing certain things, and I'm being inspired. So it just got to the point where when I finished uni, I knew I'm starting a clothing line.
So you weren't even thinking law school.
No.
the
I
bar,
didn't even look.
all
Weren't even
all
looking
them-
into, it wasn't even an option. Do you know what I mean? Like people were talking about law school and a few other things, getting training contracts. And things like
all
that,
that
but
stuff.
that wasn't even
You're
crossing my mind.
nah.
Like I knew.
I know
Do you know
this
what I mean?
is
This is the kind of realm I'm going down.
Got you.
And then and initially, to be honest, it's another thing people wouldn't know. Like I actually went when I first finished university.
Yeah.
I went to Nigeria for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
I just said I want to go somewhere
Yeah.
for a few weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
I've just finished uni, just trying to explore life a little
Stretch
bit.
your legs.
Went
a little
out
bit.
there.
Yeah.
And then I bought loads of fabric there.
Okay.
I bought
it's
loads of
cheaper over there as well.
exactly.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
had the mind that it's
Makes
cheap
sense.
instead of going
Yeah,
China,
yeah.
blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Buy fabric. I didn't even have Chinese connections at this time.
Imagine
So,
saying, I'll
yeah,
go where I know I'm good.
I know I can buy stuff. Bought hella fabric.
Yeah.
Came back. I don't even think I found the fabrics when I came. I couldn't when I was ready to use the fabrics, I couldn't find it. But this was just to let you know the idea was there.
It was there.
I then started having conversations with a family friend who's also an investor in a company.
Got you.
And he's the one that linked me up with Walter. So
Okay, cool.
we started talking,
Yeah.
and then we put 2 and 2 together, and then we just went on this journey pretty much together because, like I said, I already had the idea.
Yeah.
He had the liquid and the idea also,
Got you.
and then like we just kind of just got it going after that period in time, and then it just kind of started rolling. To be honest,
Sick.
like
man.
quite a few months after I got back, obviously,
Yeah.
probably around over 6 months after
Yeah.
I came back, we started really, like we had an office in Acton originally, Warple Way, in an industrial part of Acton. There's a few studios in and around there now, so we had an office there, and we just started rolling from there. Just
Nice, man.
like creating, meeting people,
And here we are,
and
boy.
then we, just kept going.
Aye,
Really,
that is sick.
yeah.
And at that stage, so let's kind of tap into the money side of things.
Yeah.
So you were creative,
Yeah.
very clearly, and in everything you've told me right now, from the fabric to finishing uni, you haven't really mentioned anything monetary or financial.
Yeah.
So at what point did you start thinking about things from a money perspective? Because I know that you said your other friend was more like the financial sort of mind behind it. So let me hear.
I think, do you know why? Another reason we never spoke about money.
Yeah,
I haven't really spoke about money even in this story. It's interesting, and I feel like it's a gift and a curse because we never had any money issues. We had the money. We had always kind of had a bit of money, if that makes sense. So money was not necessarily like everyone faces different issues on their journey, but I don't think the issue we had was like a money issue. Because we kind of had money, if that makes sense.
That was ticked off.
Yeah, that was kind of ticked off. So you
got
almost just are allowed to be somewhat free and creative, which obviously is amazing. But at the end of the day, let's make this clear. This is a business. At the end of the day,
of course.
So of course, like it's all good and well doing amazing things, but at the same time, it's about finding the balance. And that's where I think sometimes creative people, they don't understand the financial side, and financial people don't understand the creative side.
Yeah.
And I've been
That's facts.
been exposed to, I would say, both sides of it.
Yeah.
And now I pretty much head up the financial side of our business as well now, pretty much. So, of course, I was a lot younger at the beginning anyway, so I was still, finding my feet, I would say. However, it's just about finding the balance of the two. Did I answer your question just then?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And I guess what I was thinking was, you mentioned that money wasn't, by the sounds of it, money wasn't a problem at the time.
Exactly.
I know a lot of people start businesses first time, we need investment, we need to buy this, we need to buy that. Yeah. But for you guys, that wasn't an issue.
We've kind of overcome, we've kind of gotten past that. We've kind of gotten past that stage. So we're pretty much in the game, like, what do you want to do? Because another thing is, in some cases, of course, money always gives you an upper hand.
Yeah.
But money is not the be and end all of any business, because there's a lot of failed businesses that have had
the money.
And there's a lot of businesses that have thrived that didn't have money. And businesses that have had money and they've gone on to do amazing stuff. So it just all depends on your journey, your vision, and just how you go about how you go about pushing wherever you're pushing, really. I think the idea is more important than the money, but of course a lot of the times you need the money to maybe amplify some of your ideas, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
But I think the general principles never change in that supply, demand, and being authentic, and people tend to buy into the authenticity regardless of how much money
in
is
your account.
you have really,
No, it's
because
true.
they don't know how much money you have anyway.
It's true. All they see is your brand.
So people buy into you.
Exactly.
So yeah, initially it wasn't really something that we had to. We just kind of cracked. We just kind of cracked on, really.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you as a person, you as Ladi, how important is money to you?
It's important, man.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for me, everyone has their own kind of, I guess, views, relationship with money.
Of course.
For me, money is just what gives you freedom. That's the way I look at money.
I like that.
It's just what gives you freedom.
I like that.
So whether you are, whatever you're into, whatever you like doing, money allows you to almost do the things you like doing. And I feel like that's what it's really all about. Like, everyone likes nice things. Some people like nice things more than others.
Yeah.
However, essentially, it's just about it bringing you freedom. And I'd say peace, freedom and peace. Those are the two things I think. As long as it can bring you that, however you desire it, then that's pretty much down to you. So for me, I enjoy things like traveling. Yeah. So a lot of people look at me as someone that is not necessarily in the country that much, and that's one of the ways I like to. You could say spend money, if that makes sense.
It gives you the option to be able to go and I get you.
But again, the reasoning behind it is because it gives you peace. It motivates you. It helps you meet different people. It exposes you to different things. I just like the exposure it gives you. It opens up your mind, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's something that I'm grateful to have been able to do, to be able to travel more or less the world essentially and meet people and connect with different creatives, different people, see the way different people eat, speak, live, party, whatever, just globally. Do you get what I mean? So then when you do come back home to London, it makes you appreciate it more, but it makes you also know there's so much more in this world.
See life from a different lens 100%. Rather than just being in the same place. No, I fully get you on that, bro. And would you say that money is something that has been a focus for you growing up? Or if you were to think about your relationship with money growing up, let's say young Ladi now, before uni, how was that at home? Were you kind of taught about money? Was money spoken about at home?
I feel like there's not enough education on money, especially at a young age. More now, I know there's like a lot more podcasts, there's a lot more courses, there's a lot more people talking about it. Because of social media now, people can kind of talk about different things. Freely, but I feel like growing up, especially, I don't feel like we would have been educated on
at home or at school.
At home or at school. I feel like it probably would have been more so who you might have been around. If you were lucky enough to be around people that maybe had money or were making money, you would pick things up from them. And if you didn't have anyone around you that had or was making money,
you learned the hard way.
You're going to learn the hard way. Whatever that may be. Whatever trials and tribulations that may be. So,
that's literally it, bro.
Yeah, I feel like, and my mum was always a hustler. My mum hasn't worked for like 30 years. So I mean, I saw that my mum was like, you know, she had like shops in like Northwest London, Nigeria.
So that entrepreneurship
I saw that from my mum. But I mean, other than that, growing up at a young age, I mean, other than, you know, people from around the way, you're not seeing too much. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of that stuff is probably more so short-lived anyway. So in terms of actual people building wealth or building things that were sustainable, wouldn't have said I had much access to it, to be honest. Yeah.
So even with watching your mum not work, do you only realise that now, or were you young realising, like, my mum's actually got her own stuff?
Yeah, like I think I realised it then, but even more so now when I think back to it. But I think I realised it then because it was very like, just get it done. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It was very like, get it done. However, you know, just hustle. It's very much just do whatever you need to do. There's no real rules. Just do whatever you need to kind of do to get to where you want to get to. Yeah, like, you know, she didn't really have a 9 to 5 or anything like that. She did loads of like different, my mum done probably every type of
Any
hustle,
hustle
I
you
would
can
say,
think
yeah,
of.
like,
Yeah, got
during
you.
that era.
Hey, big up Mumsy, man.
No, literally.
Yeah, for
and
real.
to be honest, even my family friend who is the investor, essentially,
Okay,
that
cool.
connection has come through my mum. Like,
see, there you
if
go.
that makes sense. Yeah. So
there you go.
I was, putting up loads of creative stuff on, like, I think it was BlackBerry Messenger.
Yeah.
Just random
Wow,
abstract
that's a
imagery.
throwback.
And of course, he would kind of see
Yeah.
some of this stuff and think, like,
Yeah.
you
got something
must
there.
be doing something.
Yeah.
When you finish uni, let's kind of like
Let's
have
talk
a
about it.
conversation.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we did. But yeah, I would say, but I mean, yeah, mother of 5, so yeah, man.
Big up
hustle is
Mumsy,
real.
for real.
The hustle is real.
And would you say that in those environments, let's say you're at home, would you say there's anything that I feel as if we underestimate what financial education means sometimes.
100%.
And I feel as if when people say, oh, financial literacy or education, they're assuming it means that a parent has to sit down and be like, oh, this is a current account. But for me, it's little things like, I remember growing up, going to a shop and my mum and dad might say, oh no, we can't buy that. You've bought something already, or you only have this amount, you can't buy that. And indirectly, that's budgeting.
Yeah.
But
literally.
we're not seeing it as budgeting.
Yeah,
we're just seeing it
100%.
as, oh, why ain't they letting me buy
100%.
mine? You know what I'm saying? So is there anything like that you said, that you say growing up, even between you or your siblings, that you've seen and that's kind of helped you in your life, you know?
So you mean like a real life example that
Any
is
principle,
essentially financial advice without it being
indirect? Let's call it indirect financial advice.
I can't really think of. I can't really think. I'm sure there are. I just can't really think of anything, to be honest. But little things like that,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, of course, like good examples where it's like it's budgeting without you even knowing. You think it's someone being tight to you, or just
at the time,
literally damn right not letting you get what you want.
You have what you want.
Yeah, like to be honest, I can't actually think of anything off the top. If anything pops up during this, I will just
definitely, man, slide it through. And would you say that during your time, especially because you had someone initially invest in you, you know, which is, to me, that's amazing, because I feel as if as a community, there's more of that now, but there's been a big lack of that over the years. What advice would you give to someone who is, let's say, 15 years younger than you? They aspire to have a clothing brand. What would you say to that person in regards to how they could get started, and if they don't have any funds or anything like that?
This is like just getting started.
Just get started, man. Get the ball rolling. Yeah.
I think utilize the people around you for starters.
Yep.
I think that's something.
Yep.
Maybe people are becoming more in tune with that way of doing things, but I feel like that's something that's always overlooked, because we're always looking over there. We don't look at what's just right around us. If you've got like a friend that's a photographer, you've got a friend that's a graphic designer, you've got a friend that's a model, you've got a friend that might be a stylist. If you're lucky enough to have friends that are in that world, utilize them.
Use your network,
so I would say first and foremost, utilize the people you have around you.
Yeah.
The most important piece of advice I can give to a 17-year-old or anyone that I think that's new to fashion or anything creative, essentially, I think, is manage the relationships you have. Your relationships are your money.
It's everything.
Because people do business with people. They don't do business with, I can't do business with this object.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you own this object, I need to do business with you to acquire this object.
Exactly.
So just manage your relationships. If it's your printer, your manufacturer, your crew, whoever, just manage these relationships, because these are the relationships that will help take you to the next level.
Yes. No, definitely. No, I appreciate that, bro. And on the point of, I know we spoke about branding a little bit today. If you look at Marbek, what makes Marbek different to another brand? What makes Marbek special as a creative director for you? What makes Marbek, what sets Marbek aside from other brands, would you say?
I think we are a bit unpredictable in our moves. We tend to operate as, again, like things have changed a bit recently. But I would say we don't necessarily follow trends. We kind of just do what we think feels right.
Yeah.
So one thing about us, I would say, is the brand is very original. If you look through its inception, a lot of the things we were doing like 4 years ago, I've seen people start doing them a year ago. So even if you just look at, if you go back to like 20, maybe go back to like 2017, 2018 till 2020, pre-pandemic, because the pandemic really changed a lot of dynamics for us. You will notice that a lot of the things we were doing then were ahead of its time, like literally, you know, like even like branded ciphers is something we were doing a long time ago. A mobile store is something we had a long time ago. We had a truck store, renovated a truck, turned it into a shop. And we were popping up in a few different places. Again, I would say some things were not amplified enough. We didn't focus too much on telling the story. We were more focused on doing the things,
getting it done,
as opposed to telling people we were doing it.
Exactly.
And I guess that's where sometimes you can maybe not get the full awareness or traction all the time. But I would say one thing about us is we were fearless. You know, we were working with a lot of artists before people were even working with artists. There was a time where people weren't working with artists. Brands, there was a time where brands were not working with music artists in the UK. We were one of the first brands to really start co-signing artists. You know, we did a project called Untold in like 2018, 2019. We had a few artists on it. We had a few artists on it at the time. You know, like an actual mixtape. We didn't put it on Spotify and things at that time because, again, even the whole streaming world wasn't where it is today. So again, I just feel like through our inception, the brand has been very original in the way it goes about doing things. You know, we've had 2 stores in Camden, done pop-ups globally, just loads of different kind of things that, again, I feel like we didn't do it because we saw people doing it. We did it because it seemed like a cool idea.
And how would you say that helps you guys keep moving? Because I feel like we live in a generation where people are they follow the trend.
And people have a short attention span.
You know what I'm saying? It's like all of a sudden a pair of combats are made. Now you go on IG, just scroll for 2 minutes, you have bare people making combats. So with you lot, one, how do you kind of say, right, because for me, you're going against the grain a little bit. So how do you, where does that come from to make that decision to say, you know what, we know everyone else is doing this, but this is our vision, you know?
So you're saying, like, where does the whole identity around just
motivation behind that?
Like, I feel like that's literally been part of what the brand's ethos was just from the beginning.
Just from the start, okay.
And of course, myself, I'm someone that always kind of goes against the grain. That's just, I don't follow people, if that makes sense.
Got you.
So, or ideas or concepts.
I hear
very original.
I hear you.
So I guess that kind of rubbed off on the brand also, because I guess it just comes from, I don't know, like inner kind of confidence. Really.
I respect it.
So it's just, you know, just that confidence to know that if you do something right, people will gravitate towards what you're doing because of how you're doing it. So if someone comes in here, you know, sporting a certain trend, if there's 5 of us sitting in this room and someone comes in here sporting a trend, and that's their own style, and they just decided when they left their house today they're gonna wear a jacket in a certain way. If they come in here with a certain swagger, everyone's gonna be like, that looks cool, that looks hard.
Looks decent still.
And that's what people buy into.
That's how it goes.
So a lot of the time, you need to get people on your wave.
Yes,
I've hit this mic like 5 times.
Nah, it's cool.
You need to get people on your wave as opposed to trying to get on their wave. Of course, I mean, you'll make money via trends and stuff like that.
No,
that's
course,
cool. But if you're talking about being original, that's a different conversation, if that makes sense.
So what advice could you give to that? Let's go back to that 17-year-old now. What advice would you give them? Because I feel as if that generation are very much, like you said, things are very quick, fast paced, and people are thinking, right, I need to get to the top. I need to get to the top quick. And the quickest way to get to the top is just to do whatever everyone else is doing better than everyone else is doing it. But your approach is more so just do what you want to do, you know? So what advice would you give to someone who maybe struggles with that sort of way of thinking, you know?
You got to do what's natural to you, and you got to do what feels right at the end of the day.
Cool.
So I feel like you have to develop your own identity and your own confidence, and that comes from knowledge and trial and error, essentially.
Yeah.
Like the confidence comes from knowledge a lot of the time. Some people can, of course, be confident with a lack of knowledge.
General,
That's a skill. That's
I
a
hear
skill.
that still, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the actual confidence that comes from within,
Yeah.
that comes from knowing what you're
Knowing
talking
what
about,
you're
knowing
talking
what
about,
you're doing. So once you do develop your own kind of style, your own kind of vibe, I believe you will start to have your own ideas. It's then down to you to stick by your ideas.
Yes.
Regardless of if the first few people you kind of talk about it to or that come into contact with whatever this idea, regardless of what it is at the end of the day, you have to stand your guns. Because I'm sure everyone knows now it's just like you can't really listen to people when it comes to your own ideas and beliefs. You have to follow through, if that makes sense, because they're not you and you're not them. So I think,
no, that makes sense, man. And when you talk about the, you know, the uniqueness of the lines that you've dropped, what's the favorite line that you lot have dropped? The favorite
collection.
Collection, yeah. Look at me saying line.
Oh,
That's how you know I'm not from that world.
No.
That's a line. Collection.
Like, my favorite two collections, because recently, over the past few years, we haven't really been dropping collections as such. Over the last couple of years, we've been a bit more fluid, a bit more graphic orientated. We've been working a little bit smarter, not harder, I'd say.
Good.
From a business point of view, at least. I'd say my favorite collection is probably either a collection we dropped called Arctic Summer.
Okay.
Again, a lot of people probably won't remember this or probably even know this. Some people will if you've known about the brand for a long time.
Yeah.
But what we did was, when you think Arctic, you think cold. We called the collection Arctic Summer. So we played on the fact that summer's hot and winter's cold by doing a collection with cold colours in the summer. And what I mean cold colours, like grey, white, baby blue, which are actually summer colours because they're quite bright.
But they're still Arctic.
That was a cool collection. You know, we had like detachable hoodies. We had like a jacket with like a big atlas on it. With a repeat print. A few, loads of stuff that a lot of people really liked, to be fair. Then we did a collection called the Menace Collection about 2.5 years ago. And that's where we did a cypher with someone called A9. And there was like loads of like split puffer jackets. We had like a split denim jacket. It was like it had like a Korean vibe to streetwear. So we had like denim jackets with like long straps coming down. Had like a black and red puffer jacket.
I remember that one, the black and red.
We had like a tracksuit with like piping coming down the middle. Very fitted. So there was like loads of cool stuff in that. Those are probably my two favorite collections. Sick, of course, across the way, there's been one-off pieces that I've liked a lot, but collection-wise, probably those two.
Nah, got you, man. And what's the biggest stress?
Biggest stress
running Marbek. I try to think of.
Do you want me to be linking some of these answers to the money side?
Nah, bro, anything, bro.
Okay,
Just
cool.
in general,
I know
man.
it's called Money Talks.
Yeah, no, of course, man.
Let's
go.
The biggest stress. There are a few different stresses. One big stress I would say is just general manufacturing is a stress because. Do you say daily stress?
Yeah, no, in general, bro.
In general?
Whenever,
Cool. I'd say manufacturing. I'd say manufacturing for different reasons. Production comes, it doesn't look like the sample.
Got you.
But now it's here. So
That
you
must
have the
be
decision of do you
jarring.
release it as is, or do you have conversations with that manufacturer to get it redone, or to get discount on your next order, which is the kind of thing they would try and offer you. But again, time is money in this game. So every day that it's not online, you've missed sales for that day.
But you still want to keep your product consistent at the same time.
Exactly. So it's like a catch-22 where I'm sure many brands have been there before, but the manufacturing has come, the bulk production has come, and it doesn't look like what the sample that you made, for instance. Or there's like sizing issues, or there's like, you know, 1 or 2 print issues on the manufacturing side. So that's a big problem. Or lead times are getting pushed back. So you've aimed to drop something October the 1st, the manufacturer's now said to you on September the 28th,
Yeah.
he needs another week. It's not getting, and then, do you know what I mean? Customs, things like that. So manufacturing brings a lot of issues.
Yeah.
You know, just logistically, there are a lot of issues that come from manufacturing. From like I was saying, like the customs, products not coming how they should have come, products not coming on time, sizing issues, fabric, just different issues on the manufacturing. That's definitely, I think, a stress that a lot of people can face. Of course, there are better factories than others, but at some stage, I believe manufacturing does tend to bring through some issues.
And that could be annoying because the people who order from you regularly, let's say there was a dip in quality, they'll notice.
I know, and we've had
You know
people.
what I'm saying?
I've had people notice. I've had customers say,
And they hit
"Have
you
you
up
changed
on
your
the email
manufacturing?" Like,
thing.
I've had, because I get personal with customers as well a lot of the time.
No, of course,
even though they might not necessarily even know that it's actually me
It's
or
you.
what the position is. But I kind of like, when I get the chance, I have like conversations
talk
with
with them,
customers, and I've had customers say, "Have you changed your manufacturer? Because I just got this hoodie or I just got this T-shirt,
It's not
not like how my last one was."
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, what T-shirt did this person actually get?
Yeah.
Because within a batch of 100 products, for instance, at times 1 or 2 can slip through the cracks by not being up to standard, for instance.
Got you,
It just
got
it just
you, got
happens.
you.
And another thing about this as well that I want to just talk about is like people try to put certain brands on pedestals, like as if to say it can't happen here.
Yeah.
And I just want to let you know,
That's
and
real.
you probably know this, it's just like, you can buy things from even brands like Louis Vuitton and the quality is not that great.
Yep.
Like,
Facts.
do you know what I mean?
Facts,
But
yeah,
the minute it happens from maybe a up and coming brand or a young brand or
Everyone wants
or
to-
black or whatever kind of
Yeah,
brand,
yeah,
people
yeah.
want to jump on it. But it's
I
like,
hear
mate,
that.
you
I
have
hear
these
that.
issues with brands that have been around for hundreds of years and are worth hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of millions, yeah.
So
It's true.
these are just general issues
Yeah.
of the industry. I
Like
would
human
say.
error sort
There's
of
human
thing.
error,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah.
Of course, you want to minimize them.
No, of course, yeah.
But
yeah.
these kind of things happen all the time across the board. Like, I've seen it with like larger brands, and when people that I've worked with as well have actually, sourced pieces from certain more expensive brands, and the quality's been subpar, especially when you're paying top dollar for it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Or top pound or whatever.
Yeah. So why do you think people react like that with the smaller brands versus the larger brands? Because really it's the same concept. You're not happy with something. It's like how
I think it's I'm not quite sure what the word is. I was going to say entitlement or expectation, but that's not actually the word. I think it's people are coming in almost with that in mind. So they're coming in with, I think, sometimes like a whole negative point of view. It's just like the whole idea that people will buy premium brands for full price
and then want
discount on brands that are actually cheaper. So a T-shirt here could be, let's say, £35.
Yeah.
£40. You want discount on a £35, £40 T-shirt. That's fine. That's fine. Save your money. Yeah. If you can, right?
Yeah.
You will now go and buy a T-shirt that's £250,
and you're
not getting no discount.
Slap your card quickly.
And I guarantee you, the cotton on the £250 one is just like 20 GSM heavier, which is grams.
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, tiny bit heavier, but £200 heavier, I don't think so.
And I think this comes back to our conversation around trends and image, because it's like you would buy the one that is a bit more, that has a bit like heavier cotton, because of the image that it gives you, over the quality of the actual clothing.
100%. And that's an interesting point, because I guess that's what it's about in this day and age.
Unfortunately,
it's about the image. People wear things because of how they will be perceived. If I'm over here and I can see you with a certain logo on your back from, let's say, 20, 30 meters away, already you're associating that person with a lot of the time with a certain lifestyle. That's just how it works. At the end of the day, it's badges and things like that. However, doesn't actually mean anything, but of course they've perceived it as something, if that makes sense. So I think that's just the era we live in right now, especially for the younger generation, because I feel like what social media has done is it's put brands in everyone's faces.
Mm.
5 years ago, now people don't even dress how they want to dress.
Nah.
They dress how they think people want them to dress.
see them, yeah.
Oh, people want to see them.
No, that's facts. That's
Whereas
facts. Yeah,
in that time, and that's the only reason why now I try to limit my social media usage as well, because it puts everyone in the same place. Whereas everyone puts their phone down. You go on a stroll.
Yeah.
What you see is what you see. You go somewhere, what you see is what you see. You only know what you see.
What you see, yeah.
It's not just being put in your face.
Yeah.
Because obviously on social media, the way the algorithms work,
Everything
and
just
everything
boom,
else,
boom,
it tends
boom.
to be the same things that you keep seeing.
Exactly.
You see the same brands. You see the same artists a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You see the same stuff over and over and over again. So subconsciously, that's in your head. In the real world, every day is different.
Yeah.
If you move around.
Yeah.
So now people just dress how everyone dresses the same, innit?
That's such a mad concept, because really, when you really deep it, if we don't have our phones with us, we actually look at life very differently, bro. When you really deep it,
very differently,
you know. And it's little things that sometimes if I scroll, and I'm like, right, this page, I don't know, let's just say Shade Borough posted something. If I scroll 5 more times, I'll see that post again and again and again, and it's like, it just amplifies that need of people wanting to post what people are gonna like.
100%.
You know,
100%.
rather than posting what's authentic.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the age we live in now, where even earlier Instagram days, people still posted regular stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like people don't even feel confident enough or comfortable enough to post regular stuff because of the reaction they might get. Because they know people only want to see certain bits of content.
Exactly.
They want to see your lifestyle.
Yeah.
They want to see
what looks flashy or nice. Or, yeah, man.
And I guess there's an element of playing the game where I know there are people now that just play that game.
Got you.
But that's them succumbing to the demand.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you.
They don't might not genuinely want to share a certain thing, but they know that's what people want to react to, and that's what people will react to.
Yeah, no, I got you, man. And let's talk a little bit about the branches you opened. I know there was 2.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Asos as well. So with the branches, how did you find that? How was that?
Yeah, running a store is... I mean, it's incredible because you learn so much and you meet so many different people.
Yeah.
And every day is pretty much different there as well. So we had the first store on Royal College Street in Camden.
Yeah.
We've closed that down now. We opened that shop about maybe, I'd say about 4.5 years ago now. Yeah, time's flying, 4.5 years ago now.
Yeah.
And overall it was a success.
Okay.
However, again, like, I feel like as a brand, it's important that you focus and don't spread yourself too thin.
Yeah.
Because when you open a store,
you
need to know what it comes with.
Right.
And again, we opened it like quite young.
Yeah. Let's talk about the cost involved in that as well.
Cost involved.
Like, people need to hear this still.
You got when we first started, we had a 5-year. We had a 5-year lease.
Okay, cool.
Probably shouldn't have done a 5-year lease at the time.
Got you.
But we had a break clause after half the period, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So of course you're committing for 5 years.
Got you. Yeah.
Rain, shine, whatever. It's 5 years.
You're there.
You already know. 5-year lease. You know what I mean? Whether you have, whether you're selling, whether you have stock, whether you have staff, that's not their business. They need their money.
Man.
So cool.
Yeah.
Got a 5-year lease. Renovated the store.
Got you.
We probably spent maybe 50 grand just renovating the shop. Okay. Just getting doing the flooring, the decor, the flooring, getting the till done. Tills are expensive, by the way. People would never imagine how much tills cost. Tills are expensive. Tills cost thousands, good ones. Getting the storage kind of like built in, because a lot of things with stores are going to be made to measure. Yeah. And that's where a lot of money goes as well. A lot of things are going to be made to measure. So you're like, your display boxes, your till will be made to measure. Then the most expensive part is
Yeah.
you need to get the stock for the store.
Yeah.
So to stock that store, our production orders in and around that period were just all 6-figure production orders
Got you.
to stock the shop.
Yeah.
Because it's not like online
Yeah.
where people are just looking at what's available
Of course.
in a shop. You don't want to have one jacket in one size. You need a fully stocked shop to have a shop.
Of course,
Otherwise, they're just shooting themselves short.
No,
Because you're
true.
showing people things that they can't buy.
Yeah.
So we had to increase our product range. So this is when we started doing things like sneakers, sliders, backpacks, face masks, caps, tracksuits, jumpers, bombers, jackets, shirts, t-shirts, kids t-shirts, wallets, card holders, keychains, key rings, you name it. We were doing pretty much every product. Sunglasses, like literally, we did, because it was a store, we did everything. And again, this was within the brand. We've only been running for like 2.5 years, and we're opening up a shop in like Camden. This was Camden Road, the first store.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it was a lot of money, to be honest.
Crazy.
Setting up the store, running the store, staffing the store.
Of course, stuff as well.
Of course, we had like an amazing store manager from France, Paris. She was running the store well. Then we had like full-time staff, full-time staff, part-time staff, cleaners. You got to do your fire alarm. It's just like logistically.
The list goes on.
Yeah,
bruv.
logistically it goes on. Then you got business rates.
Got you.
And then you also pay a premium.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of costs in running a store. There are a lot of costs in running a store. But of course, we used to do like loads of events there,
Of course,
and everything else. So we kind of just doubled back by making it more than a store, doing events there, doing shoots there. So we used to let artists do video shoots there, photo shoots there, did events there, did a fashion show there, did a panel there, did loads of different things with it.
Yeah, utilize the space.
And I feel like that's how I utilize and maximize by just making it more than what it is. So that's kind of how it ended up balancing itself out, I'd say.
Okay. And how do you now compare that to using a retailer like Asos now? I'm putting your stuff on there.
So it's running a store, and Asos is basically totally opposite.
Yeah.
Because when you run a store, it's all down to you. All the
Hands-on,
logistics, all the management is all
there,
down to you. We're open Monday to Sunday as well, so it's 7 days a week.
Oh, bro.
Open all day.
Yeah.
Not all day, sorry. Monday to Sunday.
No
now.
rest.
Not all day, but literally open Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, of course, when you work with a company like a Asos or like there's several companies. You have your like Asos, Zalando, which is the German. They're the biggest German retailers. I believe they're the biggest retailers in Europe. I believe Asos is in the top 5, maybe second.
Oh, right.
Of course, you got like your top shop.
Yeah.
Of course, I feel like they've had some issues recently. But what they do is a wholesale relationship you would have with those businesses.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times they just have a percentage markup in which they operate by. So maybe they buy something off you for £10 and they sell it for £25 or £30,
Okay.
250.
That's how their model.
That's how their model. So
right.
250
Okay.
to 300% markup.
Got you.
So of course, to do business, you need to be able to get it made at the price that allows you to also have a margin. So let's use £10 for instance.
Yeah.
They want to buy it off you for £10 and sell it for 25 or £30. Let's just say.
Yeah.
So you need to be getting it for £7.
Yeah.
£5 if you're lucky.
To
Less
be
than
able
that if
to
you're
be
even
able
more
to
lucky.
make it make sense.
To make it make sense.
Got you. Okay.
And a lot of the times they're going to order thousands of units.
Of course, yeah.
But it's simple mathematics.
Yeah.
If you have a £10 product and they order 20,000, that's 200,000.
Got you.
And they're going to make 600,000 from this product.
Got you.
So that's how that's literally just black and white. So all you need to do is get your designs and your samples approved, and then once they take it off your hand, it's their business. They're gonna sell it. They've got the channels, they've got the marketing, they've got the budgets to push it. If that makes sense.
I'm glad you explained
of course,
that.
that type of model works well for an independent brand because they take all the headache and all the stress.
You don't have to do the physical or moving all that stuff.
Whereas when you're selling your own products to your own consumers, you got to do your photo shoots, you got to do your marketing, you got to do your shipping, you got to do your returns. You have to manage that whole process from start to finish, if that makes sense. So, you know, I mean, the whole B2B model is called the business to business model. I mean, again, I feel like, of course, build your own audience up if you have the tools to build your own audience up. Like if you're an influential person or you've got influential people around you or you can build a following or build an audience, then But of course, if you want to work differently and you do start having conversations with buyers, retailers, wholesalers, it's a no-brainer, because I know people with that we would never know of, independent brands. They only sell to retailers. Okay. So they don't necessarily do direct to customer.
That's me and you, basically.
Like you can't go on their website and order. You have to order them from Asos, from these companies. But they're turning over millions of pounds because they've been rigorously or vigorously focusing on that way of operating. So, you know, they design in advance. So right now we're in September 2022, which is autumn, winter. So, you know, spring, summer tends to start around like the February mark. So these guys would already have next year's winter samples ready. So they're working in advance and they're taking meetings periodically because these retailers, they work in advance too. They're planning for 6 months ahead, which is why and when they have the budget to spend it on brands, if that makes sense. No, so there's people doing these things outside London in different places. Small brands, to the human eye, they're small brands, but the numbers they're doing behind the scenes are different, if that makes sense. So again, it's just like, there are a lot of ways to, like, I think, make money and do things in a way that you may not get the clout, you may not get the attention, but behind the scenes, the numbers are making sense.
Speak for itself.
They're speaking for itself. And there are a lot of businesses and brands across the board that are doing that. But a lot of these people, they are focusing on B2B, which is business to business. So things are a lot more confidential. Of course. Things are a lot more under the wraps, as opposed to someone that's focused on B2C, which you get a lot more hype and you'll get a lot more recognition for, but not necessarily more money.
Got you. Makes sense, bro. And just to close off, 2 questions for you. Are you doing what you love? That's the first one. Would you say you're doing what you love?
Definitely, because again, just going back to like how I'm operating currently, I'm a lot more fluid across the board. So, you know, on a regular day, I would generally juggle across all Marbek stuff. I consult for and work with a few other brands behind the scenes. I won't mention them to just keep it under wraps because not everyone needs to know, if that makes sense. But I kind of consult, I consult and I work on a few other brands behind the scenes. Nice. You know, I'm not currently managing Young Fume. I was managing Young Fume. Now we just work as like partners. We like work on like the merch and little bits and pieces. And yeah, I guess I'm just kind of like all round kind of creative, like producing like shoots for different brands sometimes as well. Because through Marbek, essentially, and this is what I was explaining earlier, through Marbek, I've been able to meet loads of different people across music, fashion, lifestyle, just across the industry. Loads of different people, like you name it, I've probably met them at some stage in my career. And that has put me in a position where I can just be fluid and almost do what I feel like doing, if that makes sense. I'm not really limited. So I think, like it gave me the opportunity and the ladder, you could say, but I'm definitely like pretty free.
No, I love that, man. That's it. That's the goal, man. So, Ladi, appreciate you, bro, man. It's been insightful. But tell the people where they can find you as well, man. Where they can find you and Marbek.
Marbek, www.marbek.co. So we've got some new pieces dropping beginning of November. Nice. Nice. And my Instagram, I'm not on Instagram that much, but Ladi Alexander, literally Ladi Alexander. You can find me there, sharing things from time to time. And
Cool,
yeah,
man.
literally, that's it, man.
Nah, sick, bro. I
That's
appreciate
it.
you, bro,
No
man.
stress, bro.
My people, that's been another episode. I hope you listened. I hope you got the tips in there. Tune into what Ladi just said. Ladi Alexander, Marbek, Marbek. But it'll be at the bottom of this video. Asos as well, right?
Asos as well. Sorry,
They're on Asos as well.
Get it
Yeah.
off Asos as well.
Cool.
Shipping globally within
Nice.
2 days, whether that's America, Europe, UK, it's shipping globally.
It's all there.
It's all there.
Sick. My people, love for tuning in. Links at the bottom for the social medias. Tune into the next one. Love.
Love.